War against illegal mining. Now, just yesterday, they took to the streets, apprehending dozens of suspected undocumented illegal miners. Now, they accuse illegal miners of terrorizing the community, and the community is also slamming police for inaction. So for some reaction to this, we're joined now by Mogale City's Executive Mayor Tyrone Gray. And thank you so much, Mayor, for your time. Good morning to you. How did Kagiso find itself in a predicament where they are dealing with undocumented illegal miners, which the residents say are currently terrorizing the community?
Good morning to you, Tumela. So in relation to the shutdown that happened yesterday, what was originally intended to be a peaceful demonstration decayed into something that was actually quite a violent exhibition of vigilantism. However, I do sympathize with the community's frustrations. They have been terrorized as a community for a number of years now, let's say anything between 7 to 12 years. And while I sympathize with their frustrations, I must implore everyone to allow the authorities to do the work. The District Mining Forum for Combating Crime has been established in the last 2 months, and we have been actively working with the police to ensure the safety of the residents and re-landscape the area. However, it's also a very sensitive operation. One cannot simply backfill and close the holes, for instance, with TLB and rubbles and concrete, if there's still someone in the hole. And this is why we need a very controlled, delicate operation with a phased approach to track where the Zama Zamas are. And in the case of yesterday, it actually disrupted our operations because not only did we need to deploy security personnel to those areas, but then also we were unable to track which holes are occupied and which holes aren't occupied. So we implore the community to rather take hands with the SAPS and authorities and the municipal council and play a more intelligence role, feeding information that we can utilize to safeguard the area. There was an undertaking that, yes?
Yeah, Mayor, I'll get into the protest in just a moment. I just want to touch on the Zama Zama problem first. How many Zama Zamas are you dealing with here, just in terms of the information you have at hand and how big the problem is? Because residents are saying even the amount of or the number of Zama Zamas that were either arrested or exposed quite recently, it's not the entire problem, does not reflect the entire problem. There's still many more, I suppose, that are either within the community of Kagiso or dispersed into other areas. But as far as you understand, how many Zama Zamas here are we talking about?
So it's difficult to give an actual number, but I'm sure it runs into the hundreds, if not thousands. The reason it's so difficult to track the number is some of the tunnels are so extended. The rumors has it that they run from Mogale all the way into Carletonville. So it's difficult to say. And then there are some encampments, because it's been going on for a number of years, if not decades, that there are certain areas that the entire little, let's call it mini Zama Zama villages in the area.
Yeah. Of course, before the violent protests that we have seen yesterday, Mayor, had you been in engagement with the residents before? Had they lamented their concerns? Was it the first time that you've been hearing from, protesters that they did plan a peaceful march or to shut down and take action? Because it seems the message we're hearing as the media was that they will shut down Kagiso with or without the support of the authorities.
Yes, in general, what happens with Section 17 rights, like assemblies, petitions, demonstration, is that you coordinate with the SAPS, you do the next section for jock files, etc. However, I believe that this, due to the incident that happened at West Village, was an emotively fueled reactive, which is understandable by the community. However, going forward, they must ensure that they do it in a much more controlled, disciplined, and collaborative manner. However, I did have meetings previously, about 3 weeks ago, with the community of Soul City, urging them also not to rent out areas to Zama Zamas or supply with electrical connections. And about 2 months before this, in that specific area, we were also starting to destroy some of the pandukas, disrupt their operations in a phased approach, because now what's happened, given the events of yesterday, many of the Zama Zamas have now moved into another area, for instance, Manziville. So it's likely that the area of Manziville might suffer from disruptive activities today as well.
And are you not afraid or concerned, Mayor, that, as the Zama Zamas move from one community to another, because it seems this issue now has gained momentum in terms of the frustration of community members, that area now, that community too, may erupt into protests as well. And as they continue to move to another area, that community also in another risk of potential protests?
Yes, this is why we need such a coordinated and disciplined approach whenever we engage with some of these activities. However, I did manage to address the crowds yesterday and actually save a person's life who was just about to be necklaced. We then took him into the van and then took him to Leratong for medical attention. I also implored all of the community not to use levels of violence, but rather to restrain the people and allow the SAPS to take over and process them. I will also engage with the community of later today.
All right, Mayor, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much for speaking to me about this issue. Quite a sensitive one when it comes to, of course, the city of, rather the community of Kagiso. We've seen those visuals yesterday. Mogale City giving those visuals as early as 6 a.m. where community members were already out, of course, stopping traffic from moving in Kagiso. This in protest of the Zama Zamas, the illegal miners, whom they say are terrorizing the community.